Moms and dads, we know what your least favorite thing is. It's when this tiny little cute, adorable child is so upset and fussy and crying and they're just inconsolable. You can't do anything to help calm them down, to help soothe them or give them ease. Sadly, what makes this even worse is that you don't really have any hope or any help, right? Maybe you turn to Google, you go to your pediatrician and you're looking for answers. You're looking for, hey, what's going on with my child? What's wrong? What can I do? And you end up with this diagnosis or this label of colic. And they say, hey, don't worry, they will grow out of it. How much does that help you? None, right? Because your kid is still suffering, they're still trying, and you just know in your gut that something is causing it, right? Babies don't just cry for no reason. There's got to be something that's causing it. And if you've been doing your research, if you've been digging into Dr. Google, or maybe dabbled with a few of the basic recommendations you've heard from other providers, you've tried to address their gut, right? We've switched formulas, maybe we've cut out dairy, we've addressed tongue ties or latching or feeding issues that could be causing it. We've tried to work through all of these different variables that might be at play. And listen, those are good things, right? Those can all affect us. Those can all affect our little one. And there's times we recommend them and we talk about it. But what's going on more often than not is we're missing the underlying mechanism. We're missing the underlying why that's at the root of that. And that's this neurological piece, right? We somehow forget that these adorable little squishy newborns have a nervous system that runs the gut and runs their motility and how we're bringing food through the GI system and whether or not we're going to get constipated or whether or not it's going to come up the other end with spit up and reflux. We forget that this neurological piece is what has the complex motor control that is breastfeeding in our jaw and our tongue and all the motion and the movement that goes on in that process. If we're missing the neurological control, it doesn't matter if we have ties or if we have other things going on, we're never really going to be able to function as we're supposed to. So that's really what we want to do, is let's start with that neurological piece, because our operating system in our body, the nervous system, runs everything else. If we get that cleared up, if we get that functioning as it's supposed to, yeah, maybe we do still need to address those other things, but chances are life's gonna look pretty good. And we know this because we see it all the time at the office. We see kids coming in, like my baby Sophia, and they're struggling, and they are fussy, and they're inconsolable, and parents are just like, I got nothing. They're exhausted, they're fried, they're hopeless, because that's what they've been told so far. So it's almost like a last-ditch effort of maybe this might help. And thankfully, it does. Thankfully, we get to see and celebrate those wins. I can't tell you how many times after those first couple of visits, or maybe even our first adjustment, mom is reaching out later. She sends us a message like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have my baby back. I feel like this is what it is supposed to be for kids. So another question that I want to briefly address that you might be wondering is, well, how the heck does this perfect little tiny squishy newborn end up with these challenges? How do they end up with those neurological issues? Well, there's a lot of things that could cause it, but the biggest one that is going to be missed more often than not is the birth process. Even an amazing, boring, simple birth, it's a pretty big deal, right? We're compressing, we're smushing this baby through that birth canal, and that is when everything goes well. What happens more than that is there's some sort of intervention, maybe Pitocin or induction ramps up those contractions so they're even more intense. Maybe there's some guiding at that newborn as they come out. We're pulling or turning or twisting at that head, right? If you saw me with the newborn here in the office and I was holding them like this, you'd lose your minds and you'd probably be in jail for whatever you did to me, right? But deservedly so. That, though, is how we bring babies into the world, right? We grab them by the head and neck and we pull them out of that birth canal or the womb to get them into the start to life. So what happens in that situation is we miss that there's some damage being done. This key upper neck area, which controls a lot of our digestion and gut motility, which controls our head rotation and our latching and our nursing, is going to get impacted. So yes, let's address those all those other factors, but let's not miss the most important one, which is the nervous system. Thankfully at Thrive, we've got scans, we've got technology that lets us measure that and track how's our nervous system actually functioning so we can see what is going on. Do we need to add in these other things, or is the neurological piece really the one at play? Reach out with any questions, guys. I hope this video helps. I hope you share it with a parent that you know is struggling, because we need more babies thriving. We need more parents thriving, right? That is who really is struggling in these situations. It's mom and dad who are exhausted and tapped out. So help us help other people. Share this information. And if that's your kid, please reach out, schedule their scan, schedule their complimentary consultation. I cannot wait to meet you and help your kiddo be at their best.